So please join me as we just take a moment to just drop into the silence, dropping into our heart, taking a deep, sacred breath, just breathing in this brand new day, breathing in the light of this day, the sunshine of this day, the beauty and magnificence of this day. We breathe that in and we allow that light to just fill every fiber, every cell of our being, moving through all places within us that perhaps need a little more love right now, a little more light. And so we breathe that in and we know that this day is a blessing, that our lives are blessed. We know that the message that comes through Reverend Jenny this morning is exactly what we need to hear. It blesses us, it opens our heart, and it touches and inspires our lives. We know that the music is uplifting, and it opens us in a deeper and more profound way, helping us to move through this day and through the days ahead and through the weeks ahead and the months ahead with greater ease, with greater joy. And we know that that presence and that power and that life and that love of spirit is always there, right by our side, surrounding us, holding us, enveloping us with all that we need and all that we are asking for. Our greatest desires are manifested. All that we want, all that we need, all that we desire is right here, right now. And so in this moment, we release all that we'd like to let go of. We let it all go and we just receive. We receive the beauty of spirit. We receive the love of spirit on this brand new day. And so with that, with gratitude in our hearts, we release this with a deep, deep breath. We let it go. And we just say, thank you. Thank you, spirit. Thank you, God. Thank you, life, for this moment, for this day, for these blessings. And so it is. Amen.
I am called to be a healer for all humanity. I am called to be a dreamer, believe in what can be. I am called to be a maker, be an instrument of peace. I am called to be a giver of abundance I receive. I am called to be a prayer, living out the truth I seek. I am called to be everything. I am called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines on you and me. I am the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We're called to be. You are called to be a mother, to nurture family. You are called to be a brother, be strength in times of need. You are called to be a neighbor, see a friend in all you meet. You are called to be a leader, to build community. You are called to be a prayer, living out the truth you seek. You are called to be everything. You are called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines on you and me. You are the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We're we're called to be. You are called to be the kindness, set the broken-hearted free. We are called to be forgiveness, where pain has run too deep. We are called to be compassion, be the wind beneath each wing. We are called to make communion, only then we succeed. We are called to be prayer, living out the truth you seek. We are called to be everything. We are called to be the glory here on earth, so all might see all the love and all the beauty that shines on you and me. You are the living, breathing God, and you are one in me. We're called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love, called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be free, called to be peace, called to be joy, called to be love, called to be peace, called to be joy. We're called to be.
Wow. That was perfect, Julie. Thank you. Let's just start. Let's settle in and start as we do every week by harmonizing our hearts. And when I say harmonizing our hearts, I mean harmonizing our hearts, not just our heart, but our collective heart. So not only go within and harmonize your heart with these words, but think of everyone else who is joining in this service this morning. Your beloveds, people that you know, people that you miss, people that you haven't met yet. And know that we are harmonizing our hearts together and creating a greater energy as we repeat these words together. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. You feel that energy? I love that. I love that. Can you believe that we're already at the end of April? Man, this month has just flown by, and we've used the Sunday Talks this month to explore how to embrace change with a sense of curiosity and with faith as we move into new paths and new ways of being in the world. And Julie's song that was so beautiful was really just perfect. It was just perfect for our talk today, because we're going to continue to explore what we are called to be and what it means for us when that call requires us to change. You know, in Science of Mind, we say, change your thinking, change your life, kind of like change your socks, change your life. Wouldn't that be great if it were that easy? But really, I think for most of us, nothing can be more frightening than thinking about having to change. Even when we are miserable in the lives that we're leading, we cling so tightly to what we know rather than move towards something that we can't see or understand. We hang on to what we know like limpets hang on to rocks because, like them, we're afraid to get swept out into the ocean. And so we stay comfortable in our discontent rather than risk stepping out of what we know and stepping up to be that which we are called here to be. But you know, each one of us has a unique purpose that no other person on the planet can fulfill. And if we choose to ignore our purpose to live small, not only are we missing out, but so is the world. The great author Joseph Campbell said that we must be willing to let go of the life we had planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. We must be willing to let go of the life we had planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. But how hard can it be to step out of the life we had planned? I know this has been a lifelong struggle for me. All my life, I've had ideas and created pictures in my mind of my perfect life at whatever stage I've been. And how many times have I either had to step out or been forced out of that picture? I'm nearly certain this has happened to almost every one of us, because I don't know anyone who is living in the picture of the life that they had when they were, say, 10 years old or 15 or 20 or even 50. A few weeks ago, Reverend Barb talked about the winds of change, and she reminded us that the winds of change are always reordering the universe. So no matter how tightly we cling to what we think we know, what we think we want, the winds of change will come and shake things up. And still, even when we know that it's coming, change is hard for most of us to embrace. Reverend Jane Beach is a CSL minister in California who I really admire and love. She's been one of my mentors, whether she knows it or not. And I'm always so touched by her warmth and her wisdom. Yesterday, one of her posts on Facebook said, "One reason people resist change is that they focus on what they have to give up instead of what they have to gain." Right? Rings true, spot on. Sure rings true for me. So many times I found it hard to make changes in my life because I was afraid to lose what little I thought I had, that I didn't allow myself to reach for something better. I clung to my ideas of what my perfect life looked like if only I could make myself fit into those roles that I had cast for myself. It's like trying on shoes that are too small, right? When we start to outgrow our life, we know that we have to change, but it's like we keep trying to shove that foot into that shoe. Gosh, I clung to those ideas so tightly that it took sometimes hurricane-strength winds to pry my grip loose. I resisted change with the best of them. It reminds me, too, that, last week, Reverend Leah quoted the Buddha, who said that change isn't painful. Resistance to change is painful, right? We resist, and man, we get bloody stumps hanging onto the bark of the trees, right? But I thank God for those hurricane winds, because if it weren't for those, I'd still be rooted in depression and unhappiness. If not for them, I sure wouldn't be living a life where I feel completely and authentically myself, where I am living my own personal purpose rather than trying to fulfill other people's ideas for me and for my life. The teachings of Science of Mind have so greatly changed my life, just as they have changed countless other lives, and just as they can change your life too, if you not only study the principles, but you put them into practice. Some wise person, I can't remember right now who said it, but said that we can either be pushed by pain or pulled by vision. And I think one of the greatest lessons that I've had to learn in life by living the Science of Mind teachings is that I can let my life be pulled by vision rather than pushed by pain, by that pain of resisting change. In this thing called You, which in my opinion is one of the best books Ernest Holmes ever wrote, he says, the greatest gift life could make, the greatest gift life could have made to you is yourself. You are a spontaneous, self-choosing center. In the great drama of being, the great joy of becoming, the certainty of eternal expansion. How wonderful and eye-opening it was for me to learn that I had the freedom to choose and to create my own experience of life, and that I had the power within myself because I am a child of the divine to make that life happen. It was my spiritual awakening. And guess what? What's true for me is true for you. We are all part of the one, right? We are all one with the one, and we are one with each other. So what is true for me is true for you. You can let your life be pulled by vision instead of pushed by pain. You have all of the power, all of the security, all of the love and wisdom within you to make whatever changes you need so that you too can step up into your own spiritual magnificence in your best life. And realizing this truth, deeply realizing it and embodying it, leads to your own spiritual awakening and enlightenment. Thich Nhat Hanh says that enlightenment for a wave in the ocean is the moment the wave realizes it is water. When we realize we are not separate, but a part of the huge ocean of everything, we become enlightened. We realize this through practice, and we remain awake and aware of this through more practice. As we step out of our comfort zone and step up to our spiritual awakening, it's good to remember that we're part of something bigger than ourselves. We are the embodiment of spirit on earth. And knowing this, we can embrace change with more peace of mind. Whether it's change that we ask for or change that unexpectedly blows us off the course we had mapped out. We can embrace change with more curiosity than trepidation, with more expectancy of good than fear of the unknown, with greater faith that all really will be well. You know, every morning we wake up and we embark on our journey toward fulfilling our unique purpose. And as we begin this journey, we step out into the unknown. We've been cast to play this part since our first breath. Marianne Williamson says that each of us has a unique part to play in the healing of the world. And in this healing, in this call, in this unique part, our souls continually call us to be brave, to step up, regardless of what others say or think. Because you know what? This is your time. This is your life. So ask yourself, if I was living my life fully, what would I be doing? And then go do it. Claim the good that is yours. And do it now. Don't wait any longer. I think if there's anything that this last year has taught us, it's that we need to do what we love now. We need to be with people we love now. Our life's journeys are not meant to lead us only toward the lives we would love to live. They're meant to lead us to our spiritual awakening. And you know, as I look back on my life up to this point, I can see how even when I thought getting torn from a picture of a life I loved was a complete tragedy, it kept me on the path that has led me here. Ernest Holmes describes the spiritual journey well when he says that we must climb over the rocks of unbelief, pass around the barriers of doubt, and plunge into the stream with faith. Or as Brooke Minkle, our beloved youth director and practitioner, says, when she recognizes those barriers for what they are, she says, spiritual growth, yay! It's become kind of our mantra. So honestly, I can say that with hindsight, that even when the journey hasn't been easy, even when I've had to climb over those rocks and pass seemingly unpassable barriers, it's been a grand adventure. I've learned to let go of the rocks and love the ocean. I've learned to plunge into the stream with faith, and I wouldn't trade any part of it. The teachings of Science of Mind are really a wonderful roadmap for our spiritual, emotional, physical, and mental awakening. We are an integral part of the creative process of life and the way it works. And every person who has lived these teachings has a story that they can tell about how they have changed their life. And now is the time to share the good that you've learned and experienced. To be strong in your conviction and stronger in your faith. Because the world needs your gifts. It needs you to be brave, to step out of your comfort zone and step up into who you have come here to be. Brené Brown tells us that daring greatly means the courage to be vulnerable. It means to show up and be seen, to ask for what you need, to talk about how you're feeling, to have the hard conversations. And then in her book, Braving the Wilderness, she gives us a good guide for how to be brave like that. She calls it braving. Boundaries, to set and hold and respect boundaries. Reliability, to learn to say what you mean and mean what you say. Accountability, to step up, be accountable, take responsibility, and issue meaningful apologies when you're wrong. Vault, keeping confidences, recognizes what is ours to share and what's not. Integrity, practice your values even when they're difficult and hard. Non-judgment, to give and receive help. And generosity, to learn how to be generous in our assumptions about others. Braving. It's a good guide. So it's time to step up. It's time to step out of our comfort zone. I know many of us are probably clamoring to step up and step out, right? But it's time to step up and step out. Step out of our comfort zone, to step into this life that we so want to live. So your homework this week is to answer some questions for yourself. Number 1, how greatly will you dare? How brave are you willing to be to step out and to step up into your own magnificence? What's it going to take? And 2, on your journey toward your spiritual awakening in a life that you love to live, what will you bring with you? And what are you willing to leave behind? Whatever your answers to these questions are, know that you can step out with faith because you are supported by a power stronger than any power on earth, divine love. And when you step with faith, you will surely step into a life more magnificent than you can even imagine. Let's take that into prayer. Right now in this time, I know that there are people who are struggling to just be part of life. Not even a magnificent life, but any part of life. And I hold each and every one of these people so closely in my heart and in my mind, knowing that there is an avenue for them to step into a life that they too love, to step into their own magnificence. And I know that for each and every one of us who are gathered here this morning, no matter where we are in our spiritual journey, no matter where we are on the road to our own awakening and enlightenment, whether we have realized that we are part of the ocean, whether we are in a moment where we think that we are just a single drop. It's life, the ocean, the drop, the ocean, the drop. But no matter where we are in this moment, I know that we are the embodiment of something so much greater than we can even imagine. And that when we align ourselves, when we recognize that power, when we recognize that that power is who we are, that it is ever available for us to use to create our most magnificent life, the life that we are called here to live. I know that then we can rest in faith and that we can step out. We can step out into that seeming abyss and know that we will be supported, that we will be given wings to fly and hands to hold, because we are together. Because we are together, we there are the embodiment of spirit, and together we hold hands and we walk one another home. And so I'm so gratified to realize this truth, to realize that we are loved, that we are loving, that we are stepping in more and more into our own magnificence, and that as we do that, it allows us to care for ourselves and for one another in greater and greater ways every day. Thank God for Spirit. Thank God for this teaching. I am so grateful for all of it. So grateful for each and every one of us who practice it, who live it out loud, because we make the world a better place. And so it is.